Check, test, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if there's about a 10-second delay on the chat. Mike, do you have the URL for the chat room? Did I send that to you?
I do not. So
okay. If you'll open Call Manager in vMix, I'll send you that URL. Let's see.
Call Manager in vMix.
Yeah, the input that's me, just right-click on that, and that'll bring up a little window, and you can select Call Manager.
Open Call Manager. Yep, I see that.
And I have put a URL in there that you can cut and paste into a browser window, and that'll show you where everybody is. And they're saying that your audio is low. Let's see how much I've got on you. I can bump you up a little bit.
Hello, test. I can bring up a little on my end as well if you need it.
Okay. We'll give the folks in the chat room a chance to tell us what they think. And RJ is the one that says that your audio is a little low. RJ has his own studio in Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Hello, RJ. I brought the level up a little bit, and I'll try to talk this going up here a little more. So see if that made any difference.
There you go. And folks, we've been fighting audio issues. That was one of the delays in getting to you. And Giles says that he likes the low audio. He's giving it a +1. Yeah, Mike, there's a lot of room noise. We're on about our 5th mic setup here. And its mic is not coming to us from a studio. Yeah, that one works. And
So we're on this one.
yeah, there we go. That gave us lots of volume. I might even have to back off the gain a little bit with that. There we go. Yeah, Giles, I was giving it a bit of gain, and when Mike brought the mic closer to himself, I realized I have to back off the gain a little bit. In fact, Mike, RJ is one of your customers in Fort Walton Beach. That's right. He was, in fact, he's the one that introduced me to Sportscast.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so you've got at least one knowledgeable person here in chat. Okay, all right. So we've got video, we've got audio. Tom Willis wants you to duct tape the mic to your chest, but I'll tell you, you can ignore anything that Tom Willis suggests because you have to realize that he's from Reeltown, Alabama, and that just says it all right there.
Well, if you remember the 60s news broadcasts when they had the coat hanger that held it like right here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Folks, by way of an excuse, I'll tell you right now, when I came into vMix today, every single one of my shortcuts had disappeared. I'm not sure if it was something I've done or if vMix has done. So I have recreated them. That's not me, I don't think. Let's see.
It's me. Let me go kill it.
All right. There we go. And so I had to recreate all my shortcuts, including my fade to blacks that we'll see how well we did with that. So, yeah, we got the ringtone down on that, and I can hear a little bit of myself in the background there. Tom Willis says, Tom Sinclair is the best. You know, it's sucking up to me now. It's too late for that. Too late for that. Mike, we'll start with I'll start with the intro, and then I'll do a little monologue. I'll welcome some of the folks that have joined us in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group since the last time, and then have a few announcements and then bring you in. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be fine.
I mean, he's like, what can he say? Of course he's going to say it's okay. I mean,
I could comment on RJ's tech chat comment, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there'll be plenty of time for that. Plenty of time for that. All right, I'm going to draw your mic down for just a minute. And yeah, we got him down there. Very good. You can tell it took out some of the room noise. And all right, so folks, if I've got this right, I can do the fade to black part and start the recording using my little X keys right here, and with some scripts in vMix, so I can control my laptop, which is just out of the scene right here. The laptop's doing the streaming and the recording, and is also switching back and forth from different inputs as we were in pre-show and when we go to post-show. And so if I've done this correctly, I'll be able to start the recording when I hit fade to black 1. So let's give that a try, shall we? Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, the Streaming Idiot. We are so glad to have you on the show today. Really excited about today's show and about what the next, say 10 or 12 days holds. It's going to be a really exciting time. A big shout out to those of you that are watching us on Periscope or Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. We would welcome all of you to come to our website, which is easternshorebroadcasting.com, and that way you can get in on the conversation, on the chat, because we're not going to be monitoring Facebook or YouTube or Periscope or Twitter. We'll take a look at that after the show, but during the show and in the immediate post-show, we won't be watching those, so your comments will be lost on us until then. But we're delighted that you're here, and we hope you'll subscribe to us on YouTube. In fact, we also hope you'll come on over to Facebook and join our Facebook group right down there, facebook.com/groups/streaming-idiots. And we have hit 500 members to our Facebook group. Yay! I want to welcome specifically, I've got a list here, Andy Harris and Carl Hasbrook, Raphael Richardson, John Duvall, welcome John, John Power, Ed Horn, Lonnie Johnson, Carl Allen, Rolando Vargas, Angie Price Almond, Tobias Chen, Phil Williams, Sampath Kumar, Claudio Franco, Brian Monroe, Kirby Dassis, Carlo Rivera, Bora Bora, Joanne Jojo Crockett, Rich Steinberg, Scott Wickham, Lucas Merlos, Zoran Ekreg, I think I mispronounced that, odds are, Lynn Coco, Kyle Gunderson, Wayne Rutherford, Nick Nichols, Ryan Kingham, Ritesh Rathod, Danny Golly, Norman Gilbert, and member number 500 is a woman. Congratulations to Angela Hoveder. We are delighted to have all of you guys. Welcome to us. We're up at like 506 or something like now. Our goal was to get to 500 by NAB, which is next week, so it looks like we're in great shape. And again, a big hat tip to Jan and the wife for setting up the Facebook group. I think Jan said, you know, we were hoping to get 50 members, and we've exceeded that by a factor of 10, and so we appreciate you. And it's a great place to hang out during the week. There's a lot of chatter there. There's a lot of tech support, a lot of people asking for advice on products, you know, who's got real life experience with X, Y, and Z. And so Carlos Rivera, I almost pronounced his name correctly. He's in the chat right now. If you're watching us on YouTube and those others, come on over, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. You can get in on the chat and see what's going on. Yeah, Kyle says I almost pronounced his correctly too. I think I called him Gunderson instead of Gunderman because there's a Gunderson here locally. Anyway, really excited about today's show. We're going to get to Mike in just a second. He's with Sportscast, Sportzcast, and I'm not going to steal any of his thunder, but let's just say if you've struggled with how to get scoring into your production, he's got an amazing answer. But hold on just a second. We're going to get to that. Next week is NAB. The great folks at vMix from Down Under are going to be there. In fact, they're there already setting up. I found out that they snuck in during the middle of the night. and they've invited me to go out there, so I'm going to be there at NAB starting Monday through Thursday. So if you're going to be there too, we want you to come to the vMix booth. It's in the, I think it's in the lower South Hall, and we're up on the upper level of the lower South Hall, over to the right, kind of behind Black Magic or B&H Photo, one of those big ones right there in the front. Anyway, we're real close to the front, and needless to say, I'm excited. I'm partially excited because the vMix guys actually said, Tom, we would like some of your live streaming gear, our live streaming gear, studio PCs. We'd like 2 of those for the vMix show. So they ordered them, we built them, shipped them out to Las Vegas. They're putting them in right now. And rumor has it they've already loaned one of them over to TerraDeck to do a live feed for the show. So our live streaming gear PCs, I'm really stoked about that, are going to be used at NAB, not once, but 2 different places. And if that wasn't exciting enough, coming up in June in Atlanta is StreamCon. And we've been working really closely with the creator of StreamCon to put together a really exciting conference that's going to have a lot of hands-on tech stuff as well as a lot of behind-the-scenes business stuff. I get asked all the time, Tom, how in the world do you monetize your live streaming? Well, we've got 1,000, well, I don't know if it's 1,000, but we got a lot of ways, and a lot of folks will be there to talk about how to monetize your live stream. Portions of StreamCon will be broadcast, will be live streamed, the discussion panels, but the individual presentations will not be. The idea is, you know, the folks that are coming to the conference and paying the big bucks are getting the big benefit. I don't think a decision has been made on whether the panels will be on pay-per-view. I have a feeling not at this point. But if you want to come and get all the content, you got to be there. You got to be there. StreamCon, Atlanta, June 8th through 11th. I'm going to be there. I hope you'll be there too. And also a big shout out to, here's another name again. I'm going to try it. Rebohoth, R-E-B-O-H-O-T-H. Rebahoth, Seventh-day Adventist Church in Reading, Pennsylvania, just signed up for vMix this morning. They were having some problems. They said vMix is what we want, and so we actually remoted in and helped them get things set up. So it was really pretty fun. What else we got? I think Gerald's saying that it looks like the discussions at StreamCon will be on pay-per-view, so they should be affordable. In fact, I'll probably be giving away a couple of pay-per-view packages between now and then, so stay tuned for that. So, I think we got all that announcement stuff out of the way. Let's bring in our guest, and let me make sure I can find his audio here. There's nothing worse than bringing in a guest and not having any audio in him. So Mike, this is Mike Connell. Mike, welcome to the broadcast. We are delighted that you are here. Thanks for taking time out to come in with us today.
Thank you, Tom. Sometimes no audio from me. Maybe that's an advantage.
Yeah, I think people have said the same about me. So Mike and I in the pre-show were trying to get his audio dialed in just right, and gave it 3 or 4 tries, and frankly just ran out of time. So we've got a little bit of background noise on him, and we'll just have to, you know, sometimes when you're live like this, you just have to go with what you got. But Mike, tell me about live streaming. When did live streaming show up on your radar?
Well, actually, Sportscast originated around 2008 as a high school streaming project. I'm sure everybody's heard they've had their kid or their school they want to follow and they want to get into the streaming side. We started another little company back then, or I guess a little bit of a hobby. And in streaming sports, we quickly discovered if you don't have a scoreboard down there to know who's playing, what's the score, what's the time, then there's you know, I mute the phone and then it vibrates. Imagine that. So I'm hearing that.
Not to worry. To worry.
So we quickly started looking into how to bring scoreboard overlays into the broadcast. So back in 2008, the service originated on Windows Media. It graduated to Silverlight. But the core is, as we traveled with the team, we started looking at all the different scoreboards that we were interfacing with, and quickly discovered that it seems like everyone was different, even with the same manufacturer. As they changed generations, different protocols came around. So we made it a task to start researching all these protocols and putting them together into our own internal library. I guess a few years later we decided, well, we didn't want to keep this technology to ourselves, and we didn't want to compete with the hundreds or thousands of other streamers. So we really dropped streaming and focused just on automating productions, particularly in the scoring area. And most recently, I'm going to drop a couple secrets of what's coming for NAB, are some automation tools that tie streaming into some cameras, so that the cameras become a single camera streaming overlay sports production package. And we can discuss that later on into the show.
Cool. That's great. So you started out because you had a child that was playing sports.
We did. The daughter playing softball. It's a story I've heard in quite a few places. Just wanting to follow that. So we covered a lot of Roswell High School, Georgia football and softball games. And then, of course, she graduated, got a college scholarship, and went off to a school that didn't have streaming. So we had to fix that. And about that point, we decided, this is around, I guess, 2010, turn it into a full-time business. So to date, we have about 1,200 score bots out into the field that's collecting score data, that's feeding just across the board from from all of the streaming packages up to major television the remote trucks, the big 43-foot vans. So we kind of cover the gamut now.
That's awesome. And your secret sauce, of course, is the ability to plug into what the venue already has.
Yeah, yes. So today it's about 120 different scoreboard sports and protocols that are different. So yes, the secret sauce, the library of the company is the protocols for all of those. And of course, that's what we make available in our products. Most of the newer products will support all of those. Some of the older ones you pick, I want to do Daktronics football or Nevco baseball, and you get that. But today it's a very universal product.
So you have a proverbial black box.
We have several of them. A couple of them are sitting here on the table. Do you want to run through them now? Or?
Sure. Let's take a look.
So if you can maybe go to a wide shot. I see. Then I can pick up it's amazing what you can do in vMix. So what's what I have running right here in front of me is a traditional. It's a Fair Play scoreboard. This is one of the many that's out there, and this is actually running live. And actually, while I'm talking about this on vMix on my end, I'm going to drop that in. So that's this particular scoreboard. If I stop the clock, wow, 37 even. That's what's on there. Start the clock, get that back going. This score bot, it's plugged in to one of the data jacks on the back, and it's actually running out of this particular one. So the idea behind this score bot is it takes the input that's coming in, and there's also several other jacks down here. So there's a 1/4-inch phone plug if you're Electromech or Daktronics. There's the BNC connector for the ones familiar with Nevco. We're plugged into Fair Play, and so all the connectors will plug into here. We provide different interface cables, based on the scorebot or the scoreboard that you have. This device is coming out on an Ethernet network, and this network is connected up to the same laptop that I'm running right now. So, one of the things we hear pretty often is people ask, well, do I have to stream my scores up to the internet and get it back to the device? And that's an option. It is absolutely not required. So this scorebot is connected directly up to the vMix system that's running here. Tom
Mike-
is a much better vMix Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but before you move on, would you run through the back of the scoreboard again and go ahead and pull that graphic off? Because the graphic just happened to cover where that area was. Yes.
Tom, you said run through the back, and I lost your feed for a moment. So could
Okay.
you repeat the question?
Yeah, there's a graphic that you put on the screen that covers the back of the scorebot. If you could just pull that the scoring graphic off for just
Oh.
a second. Yeah. There we
Right
go.
there.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
And I've zoomed in a little
So,
bit so we can see the back there and see the different connections. Okay, that's what we were looking for.
Okay, so the connections are, there's a 1/4-inch phone plug, so that's everybody seeing on the back of a Daktronics, it's a 1/4-inch stereo phone plug. That would plug up here. That's same thing for Electromech. If you're running Nevco scoreboards, you plug into the BNC connector. Most of the other scoreboards is going to plug in on this DB9, which is what this Fairplay is on. Although this Fairplay is, this end, it's the 1/4-inch plug. That's how we're currently connected up on this one. While you have the zoomed up connector or zoomed in screen, something I'm going to try to do is turn that. I'm not sure if it's showing up in the screen, but in the setup you can actually see the different. You can see the scores that are coming through on it. So it enables you to pretty quickly have some confidence of what you actually have up and running. So I'm going to get really creative here. If I throw well, that didn't work because it's a different spot. I'll take that back out.
All right,
So
we got it.
So this particular device interfaces back to the network via the Ethernet connector. We actually have quite a few of these running in local high schools that do not have internet, and these devices have cell modems inside them. So they are broadcasting the scores, just really scoring only. So it's kind of a secondary way. And people ask about Wi-Fi. If you want to run these on Wi-Fi, there's very inexpensive Ethernet to Wi-Fi converters that are about $35 that you can bring those in and get the data in that way. I guess the simplest way is if you're streaming, you already have a network established. You put that network back into your streaming device, and that's as simple as that to bring that layer in.
Okay, so once we've made this physical connection, now it's coming into vMix as raw data. What happens with it then?
So the raw data, Sportscast normalizes it into XML, JSON, and SP data feeds. So in the case of vMix, it's coming in, at least today, as an XML data feed that can feed vMix's internal text generator, the CG that's provided in there. We do the same thing with other products like NewTek. They've got their live text feed. We provide an XML feed into that. A couple of the new things coming up at NAB is we're natively interfacing to live text to take out the XML layer. There's a bit of a problem with that. Anyone that's ever run a basketball game and get to the 10th of a second where the play clocks are running, counting down at 10th of a second intervals, live text just couldn't keep up, or really nothing can keep up running with XML. So we're a direct data interface on NewTek starting at this NAB. I don't want to speak for Martin or say what he is or isn't going to develop in the next week. I say week because we know how fast and how well Martin develops things. But we're making that same data available for vMix. So we're going to be able to directly connect and bring that in. Kind of Sportscast's philosophy is we will provide this data in its native format to anybody's graphics generators. So if you want to get quite fancy with automated or animated graphics, like New Blue, we're partnering with them at NAB. We're actually in adjacent booths, two side-by-side 10-foot booths. So we're going to be throwing data back and forth. Well, we're going to throw data across, and they're going to throw pretty graphics back. So vMix and most of the other streaming solutions will be running live in our booth for demonstration.
Awesome, awesome. And for anybody that's at NAB, where is your booth?
We are in the South Hall upper, and it is the true upper. It's I saw in the chat it's not the upper lower, but
Yeah,
South Hall
right.
upper, booth 7326. So it's about a third of the way down to the right side is where you would locate us, and
Okay.
be happy to chat with anybody there.
Okay, all right. Well, and Mike, you and I are going to have to find a way of meeting up somehow. In fact, when we get into the post show, which is just you and me, I've got an idea for you. R.J. Murdoch, who is with, golly, how many different companies is with R.J. with Emerald Coast Broadcasting for sure in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, is one of your clients, and has in fact, that's how I came to find out about you, because I went out to hang out with RJ and went to a basketball game, and he started hooking all this stuff up to the scoring system right there in the venue. And I said, RJ, what are you doing? And he said, well, this is how we get the scoring in. We get the clock, we get the score, we get the fouls, whatever goes on the scoreboard is data that we can use. And so RJ is correcting me. It's Emerald Coast TV, and it's www.emeraldcoasttv.com, just to be on the safe side. So so this is how we made the connection. RJ's in chat right now, and he's saying directly into vMix. This is awesome, and he's got some questions. I suspect he probably needs to talk with you and see how he can upgrade his scorebot to the latest greatest. And then Kenny's got a question. It's sort of a general generic question. That's it. Two words at once. He says, so you can directly interface to the computer via IP. And, kind of build on that question, Mike, and unpack that a little bit.
Okay, so the data coming out of our scorebots, we communicate via an internet connection or a direct IP connection. So the plugins that we supply to our partner vendors, either for streaming systems or for character generators, we provide to them at no charge the actual software libraries to bring that data raw into their programs. And then they can take that and feed it internally into their graphics. So I saw one of the questions is about, well, how do you map one to the other?
Right.
In the case of live text, and vMix is very similar, the XML will define a certain data element that can be then linked to a certain element on the score. So for example, we have a data element called HScore. It's the home team score. And you would just map that into the position in the graphic there where you put the home team score. And it's the same thing for clocks and play clocks. So a lot of the tie-ins to the system is just doing that direct score mapping. Mm-hmm. One of the other questions I saw, well, what elements are available? It's truly no more, no less than what's on that scoreboard that's out in the field. So baseball is a good example I like to point out. Sometimes you see big long line scores where you can see the score in every inning versus a scoreboard that just has what's the final score.
Right.
So if the data is on that scoreboard, then we're going to provide that to the graphic, to that user.
I love it. I love it.
So if it's not there, we can't create it.
Right.
I take that back. In the case of baseball, the top and bottom innings, we actually derive that. Because if you ever looked at a baseball line score, there is no indicator for top and bottom innings. So we do some clever things to give you that little up and down arrow to
Right.
signify the inning you're in.
So if we have a scoreboard that has 50 different data elements, you can provide all those to vMix.
Right, if it's there. And when you say 50 elements, a good example, basketball has the stat panels of the 10 players in the games, how many fouls, how many points each player has.
Right.
So that information is available. It's up to the user to create the graphic that to visualize that in their broadcast.
Oh, that's awesome. And so people that are coming to NAB can see that.
Yes, all of these will be running live in the booth. We'll have a variety of scoreboards, and the different scorebots will be sitting there. At the show, we'll have the vMix running, we'll have NewTek, the TriCaster running, and they'll be running both their native graphics and the new blue Titler graphics.
Since they're right next door, why not? That's right. I love it. Now, did you and the New Blue guys plan that, or was that just happenstance?
We've been partnered together for about a year as
Okay.
using New Blue as our graphic system. So when we both decided to go to NAB, it just made sense. At first we wanted to, just be somewhat nearby. But with the NAB booth, the selection, we were lucky. We found a 20-foot booth and split it, and just that's where we're going to be at.
There you go. There you go. I like that. I like that. Okay. Now, will you throw that graphic up across the screen again and just sort of show us some of the things that we can look for?
Sure. Well, this is a very simple graphic that the way this was created is it's a PNG that was created in Photoshop. So the background elements here, the Sportscast, the little black and red bars and the white boxes are, that's where it starts. And I'm going to attempt to show how that was actually put together through the magic of vMix here. So bear with me for just a moment to switch
Sure.
some screens around. So
No problem.
hopefully what you're seeing is our title designer or our layout. Is that coming through right now?
Yes.
So the whole idea here is, if I just clear the background layers, okay, so that's the PNG background. That's just, you drag and drop that on the screen. And then if the way people would create this, like down the left side you can see, or it's pretty small, but for example, here's the clock. I'm just going to drag the clock into where I want to position it. It's live, and then if I right click it, I'll get the attributes of that. So if I want to say a white clock, and I want it to be a little larger than that, and let's make it over a transparent background. That's how you lay it out. And lost you just for a moment there. So if I switch back to, see, my vMix side and my picture, let's see what's here. Yeah, there we go. So that's what's now live. So I just made a really quick change up there. So it's it's a drag and drop, and then every element has its own relationship. I'm gonna kind of try to fix that here, kind of bring everything back. I think it was basketball. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Mike,
So
we were
that's
able
our-
to
that-
see you move it around, and as soon as you dragged it and dropped it, it was active in the score across the bottom.
Yeah, yes, it's live now. This was our most very simplified graphics that we put together. We really kind of end of life this. We created it because there was no cheap or inexpensive or easy to operate scoreboard template. Since last year, with what New Blue's doing with graphics and the title designer that's inside of vMix, this has also brought a lot of new life into live text, because all of these elements can come directly in and feed the graphic system. So, since we opened up the data feeds and the libraries to the graphic partners, they're able to use this data and incorporate that into the system. So even though we've had this, and this is the way a lot of people are running the titles,
Sure.
much more professional title systems are out there, so you can get fully animated graphics and the roulette style, the scores flip on, or you can have things go screaming across. So all of those title systems will be showing out there at our booth.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And this all started because your daughter played softball.
Yes, you might say that. One other, we're going to have a new product that we're also going to launch, which is the same scorebot. So, Ty, if you could go back to that little product shot that you had with your Zoom there, you could hit the button that shows the devices down there. So, well, let me drop the overlay.
Drop the scoreboard. There we go.
Right. So this is the scorebot, this large one that's that's been shipping. Well, some people may have noticed this other little one that's sitting here. Boy, left is right and right is left.
That's all right. I was moving it while you were moving it.
So this is a new product that's going to launch at the show, and the idea, this is called Score Connect, and it is almost the same thing as what's in the larger box. What this device is designed to do, there's two sides on it. There's a little DB9 connector on one side, and this is the scoreboard interface side. So this side contains all of all the same scoreboard interface as its larger brother. So depending on the scoreboard, like this is a Nevco interface cable. You might notice it's got the BMC. So if we plug the DB9 into that side and plug that into the Nevco, that's how we would interface with Nevco. And we have the same cable for all of the other scoreboard vendors that are out there. The other side is a USB connector. And I'd almost like to turn the chat on and just see how many people have guessed it of what's going on then. So this device via USB will plug into any of the partner products that I've talked about. So natively, this box plugged into vMix or the TriCasters or Wirecast or any of these systems are going to be able to natively pull live graphics into the system. So that is the hardware connect. What this box is doing is it's doing all the protocol translations between the different scoreboard manufacturers. And some people have already said, oh, it's nothing more than a USB to serial converter. Well, yes, that is true for, that's very true for a couple of the scoreboard models, but I haven't seen a USB converter yet that has a Nevco BNC jack on it. Or all the different protocols that the scoreboards use. So the processors inside this normalize the data, and then the program running inside the PC is going to enable all these companies to directly interface that in. So new things showing, it's primarily going to be sold with a graphics package. It doesn't do you a lot of good to get the data.
Right.
So it's going to have all of the others in there.
Awesome. Now,
So
as you
that's
can
gonna
imagine, there are
really
1,001 questions in chat. And so
Yes.
we're going to,
Yes, powered over. I see an easy one. Powered over USB, yes. So
Yes.
there's no power required. It will.
Yes.
It gets its power from the USB port.
well, Jens wants to
then
know if
we-
you have a European distributor.
We do not. We do have several. We have quite a few actually over in Europe, in many cities, but we don't have a European distributor. If there's, we do ship worldwide, but that's something we'd like to certainly entertain.
Well, Jens might be your guy. He is quite something, but I'll let you guys get together on that one. All right. All right, well,
I see a.
yes,
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're
Well,
good.
I saw Bodette was on here. People are asking about that. Yes, that's we do interface with Bodette. Currently, it is just basketball. If anybody has other sports, just let us know. We will. It typically takes us about a week to add another protocol. The other question, Daktronics 3000s and 5000s, the answer is yes to both of those. It's also yes to 4000s if anybody's run into one of those dinosaurs. But it's the 4000s are supported as well. If anybody goes to our website, in the download section, there's a list of all the scoreboards that are supported.
All right, and his website is sportscast.net. You can also get there by going to sportscast.us, which will all take you to the same place eventually. I tell you what, Mike, we are about out of show time, but if you would hang around for a few minutes in post-show, I bet there's a couple more questions that'll come popping up. Can we do that?
If you don't mind, if I could I just throw out one more thing of
Throw it
what's
out.
coming up at NAB?
Throw it out.
Okay, so this is it's an Axis IP security camera that I currently have up live at Tom's. Take the zoom out. That camera is back at my house, shooting out of the garage window, and Tom's working on. There you go, full screen. So what's unique about this camera is it is an off-the-shelf Axis IP camera. The camera is doing RTMP streaming direct. There's no encoder. There's nothing but the camera on the internet. Also, the overlay is being generated inside the camera directly. So there's no switcher or keyer involved. This is totally 100% native coming out of the camera. So anybody that wants to do a single camera solution for baseball, softball, tennis, something you don't have to pan and tilt and zoom the camera, this is a perfect application to get a sports streaming app. And this is also going to be launched at NAB to do. We'll be showing this one.
Awesome. I love it. You guys are just you just keep on cranking them out, don't you? These great ideas, and you said, "Oh, yeah, we can do that. No problem."
I think it's part of the trend where we're hearing we need to get lower cost, easier production. The tools for the single camera, the interfaces we've done with JVC and their cameras, and now Axis to do quick streaming. So we're trying to address the market need for driving down the cost of streaming with but good quality with the score bugs, and kind of bringing that onto the market.
Oh, that's great. That's cool. Okay. If you're watching live, don't go away. If you're watching live. And if you're watching the live recorded YouTube feed, don't go away. Because we're going to come back with the post show in just a second. Mike, thank you so much. This is Mike Connell with Sportscast, sportscast.net. You can see him at NAB in the upper southern hall, in the front end on the right. And they'll be right next to the new blue titler guys. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show. We're going to wrap up and be right back with the post show. So sit tight.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
All right. And I think that's got us, we're out. We are no longer recording. We're in good shape. All right. Very good. Mike, thank you. That was cool. I think we missed some questions because they were scrolling through so quickly. There's a little gear icon in the bottom of the chat where you can turn off the scroll to latest message, and that will allow you to scroll back into previous messages, because otherwise every time somebody posts a new comment, it jumps back to the active comment. So let's go back and see what we missed.
Do you want to maybe find them or read them out, and I'll
Yeah, I'll go back
do
and
my best.
let's see here. Dun. Looking through, what did I miss? Well, Rich Ignacio asked where you're from and where do you primarily broadcast. You guys are headquartered in Orlando, and you're not really broadcasting anymore, right?
Well, we're in Winter Springs, Florida, is our main office. We actually have people in Dallas and Kansas City that help out. We're quite a virtual company. Native broadcasting ourselves, we do occasionally just to kind of keep up with the technology. We recently did a lot of USA softball events, they were college softball events. If you look for my webpage or my YouTube page, you'll find about, I think there's about 150 softball games, and they were all produced with that IP camera that I showed at the end of just a moment ago at the end of the show. So those are full 1080p streams with the logo in there, so people can go in and check out hundreds of games. So occasionally we'll do a streaming presentation ourselves, mainly to help out somebody or do a demo. But we're really not a streaming company. We're more of an enabler to provide services for other streaming companies.
Rich is also asking, did you create this technology or did you just make it better? Interesting question, Rich.
The concept of a score bug has been around, I guess, ever since sports started. It's people started out just pointing a camera at the scoreboard, and then later CG systems, people would manually tie it in, and then there are data interfaces available, easy ones for some of the scoreboard controllers. So there are solutions that do that. Some of them are inexpensive, and some of them are pretty pricey. We kind of set out to develop that universal interface across the board to level that playing field, so that anybody could have ESPN quality bugs or graphics down there at the bottom of their screen. So I guess we enhanced it, but just kind of brought it to the masses.
Gotcha. So you can create your own PNG scoring and then arrange it however you want to. Put in your logo, the team logo, the school logo, the sponsor's logo, anything you want to. Make the numbers green, make them in a italicized font if you choose. You're just providing the data, and it's up to the user to provide the format for the data. And now with the partnership with New Blue, you've got the ability to have that as a package where they will have pre-made, I guess, a lot of this stuff, where you can it really becomes plug and play at that point.
Absolutely. They've got a really good library of canned graphics that you can then modify to your needs, to get that custom look.
And there is a comment here about the cats and dogs score, that the cats always win. They could lead by twice as much if they would bother to participate.
I've got the scoreboard controller here, so if you, whoever that I can certainly, we can always, affect that if we need to.
Okay, Guido wants to know about pricing, and I would suggest that he needs to contact you because his needs would determine what his pricing would be, right? Different score systems, different.
Yeah.
Different. Oh, you got cats and dogs.
That's correct.
There we go. Cats are creaming dogs.
Well, I'm on let's see, we want home score. Okay.
There we go. Dogs are catching up. It's a cat and dog world.
No, but in the general, in the ballpark, the low end, we have a version that is it's $499. That does come with a data subscription. and very basic graphics. The high end it's right around the $15.99. It may be a little more at NAB because we still haven't. We're tying in some new graphics packages that may be some very high-end professional graphics. So we're thinking in the 2000 range is a full production professional graphic system with animation and just all the bells and whistles. So
that is pennies on the dollar.
The $499 to $2,000 ballpark.
Right.
There's a couple features that that we may be adding in that are going to start to look interesting. That I'd say see me at NAB. It kind of revolves around automated ad insertion and automated graphic capabilities. So kind of virtualized graphics, if you would.
Gotcha. All right. Martin Stuckey has got a question. He says, "Is that the system for access cameras from Cam Streamer, or is this something? This
Yes.
is what."
Well, yes, it is. Cam Streamer out of
Okay.
Czechoslovakia, they enable the cameras to do RTMP streaming. So we worked with them to really the same thing we did with JVC is to incorporate the data direct into the camera. Sportscast put up a cloud scoreboard service engine that the cameras can connect to. Because remember, most of these cameras are behind firewalls when they're mounted. So the remote control system, the scoreboard overlay control system is something that we enabled and worked with them to bring that out. So the solution when we provide it is actually we software as a service, the cam streamer, the overlay, the remote control, and the overlay control system to customize it for that. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, we'll find out in just a minute. Rich wants to know which access cameras is it the whole line, or is there particular model numbers that work for you guys?
It's not the entire line. It's going to be mainly just their newer cameras. So they've got indoor, outdoor, pan tilt, zoom. The one we use on the softball games, it's a Q3505 VE. So the V is for vandal proof, which translates to, in my world, foul ball proof. And the E is for environmental or outdoor waterproof. So that camera is tested to, there's a certain rating, it's like a IP10 plus as far as the impact resistance. So we're kind of bumping that up a bit to see if it can actually take the foul ball.
That's good. All right.
But any of the newer cameras that are coming out, I know today there's probably about 20 cameras. There's going to be more coming.
Okay. Rafael is I think he's in Poland, and he said, there may be a scoreboard there that's not compatible with your system. What would you need to make it work?
Well, when we do an interface, we just ask if it's a totally new scoreboard controller. Does it have any obvious data outputs that we could come up with? So if it has that, then we would send one of the scorebots to that customer. He would plug it in. We've got remote access to that. We can see the data. And like I said earlier, generally within a week we can parse and pull out that data.
Gotcha.
We've got some pretty interesting algorithms that look at the data and kind of enables us to visualize it so we can build the data in the parse tables.
Okay. Kenny is asking, so you're not buying for a particular brand of scoreboard controller there at the venue, that yours is a universal black box, because he's talking about away games where the away venue would have a different controller than he's normally used to at his home venue, and he said, so no problems with just one unit. Did we understand that correctly?
Yes, that's correct. So the one unit, you can change the sport decode when you connect it up. So you just look at what you have, like this is a fair play running basketball. So in our translation, there's a table. That's a sport code 2-1. So that's what's entered into the box. Kill the overlay again. That's what's entered in this box. So the little front panel display is where you would put in the manufacturer and the sport and the type, and then it knows what to decode.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's see. RJ wants to know, can it overlay in any Sony camera?
Currently, the only cameras that will do a direct overlay are the newer Axis cameras and the JVC HM200SP.
Okay.
What I would say is any camera or any system that, at least if the camera has that capability, I would be most interested in talking to that, the camera manufacturer or the overlay generator. So doing all the character generators was pretty easy because they were made to generate graphics, where a camera was, the cameras really weren't designed to do overlays. People assumed you were going to have a downstream keyer. But if another camera comes out that does that, we will certainly be in touch with them and do our best to make that happen.
There was a comment earlier that compared you to Martin Sinclair, in that you guys, Martin definitely has a reputation for cranking out fixes, within hours, cranking out new features sometimes within days when he gets a great idea, and that you guys seem to be very responsive to the feedback that you're getting from your clients and potential clients.
We try to, and I mean, the company is truly based on that library of scoreboards. So when we run into a new one, we want to enact that as quick as possible. Also, we've sometimes left things out where you get a basketball game, and a good example is a customer had double bonuses on basketball, and we weren't reporting it. So we, once we were notified, we added that in so we could get that part.
Okay, Rich is asking about your YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel called?
I'm not even sure the name of it. If you look up Sportscast, I'm doing it live right now to see if I can find it.
Okay.
Oh goodness, a lot of our customers have brought things up. I will tell you what, I will put the link to the channel. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
And I'll let you post it.
All right.
Of the channel page.
Yeah.
Because I don't recite hexadecimal that well. Or even better, if I can put the chat page up.
Yeah.
Tom's chat. Let's see if I can do that. Well, how do I get into chat? Oh, I guess I just did. So I threw the chat page up and you got it.
Is that Sportscast TV? No, that's somebody else. Okay. There it is. Ah, okay. All right. Okay, cool. Very good, very good, very good.
I was just kind of scrolling around looking if there's any other. I think you covered most of them.
I think we got them, yeah. I think we got them, all right.
So it's kind of cheating. It's my IP security camera, but it's also, you know, watching over the neighborhood, and yeah, it works out really well. So it's better if you look at that YouTube page, take it full screen and look at 1080p. It's pretty amazing how, you know, how good you know, a single camera in the backstop actually looks.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
And
it looks
and
like
I should have pointed out the camera that's shooting me. It is the JVC camera. It's an HM200 SP. So it's the same capabilities. It'll do the graphics in the camera, and it'll stream directly. So, matter of fact, when I finish this broadcast, I've got to run out to a demo with one of the local cable companies who wants to, you know, stream a game, you know, with just the camera with the scoreboard. So it's got a Verizon Air card on it. It picks up the scoreboard that's in the venue, and then it relays it on up to the cable channel's streaming page. So you can't get any simpler for a streaming an event than just the camera.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And you're not worried about switching cameras, and you know, if you've got somebody that can add a little commentary, there you go. You got a complete broadcast.
Yeah, the camera's got a little built-in mixer, which is what I'm actually talking to right down here. So that works quite well.
All right. All right. Rich wants to know, so these are permanently mounted cameras on the softball fields?
Yes. So
I mean,
they're
not taken down every day. They might be taken down for the winter or off season or something like that, but they're not taken down every night after every game.
Right. These cameras were designed for permanent outdoor installations, and
Okay.
you know, today you walk around and just look up, you see these cameras everywhere.
Of course,
The
a security
you know,
camera.
the little dome-shaped
Yeah.
security camera. That's what it is. What's unique about it is they make some that are vandal resistant, which again I translate to foul ball resistant. So they have audio in them as well, and you can plug in little Bluetooth audio adapters and then do play-by-play if you want more than just the crowd noise.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, Kenny is asking. He says because Kenny is ready to write a check right now. Kenny says, so with your product, I do not need to purchase the Nevco interface box for XML. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. We do a native Nevco interface direct to the score system. And that works with either one of the systems I have here on the desk.
Okay, Kenny, there we go. I think Kenny's going to be at NAB, so I know he's going to be coming by your booth.
Yes. Yeah, Kenny, please come by. It's SU 7326.
Okay. Got it. Got it. This is good. This is good. Well, actually, Mike and I were supposed to hook up a couple of weeks ago, and we just couldn't make it. And so here we are right the week before NAB. He's probably pulling his hair out, trying to get everything ready to go off to Las Vegas, and he's taking time out to be with us. And so, Mike, we all thank you very much for coming on out here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week in NAB, and whether I pop up to your booth or whether you make it down to VMix, where I'll be parked, it will be fun. It will be fun.
Well, if you see Martin before I get to him, I'm going to try to have the direct interface to this, the new device by the show. So I'd be happy to loan him one to show him how it works.
I'm sure he would be delighted to receive it. That would be cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Very good. I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm just going to send you an email with the thing I wanted to share with you, because I'm coming up on a hard break here. I've got an appointment, and I know you've got things to do. Folks, let's give Mike a big round of applause for a great time. We appreciate him coming on, and Mike, we'll ask you back in the future, and obviously you guys are churning out new ideas all the time, and so we hope you'll bring the new idea back to us and share it so that we can share it too.
Sure, and if anybody has any direct questions or they want to take up, they can email me at mike@sportscast.net. That's sportzcast.net. There you go. Put it on the chat.
Got it. Got it. There it is. There it is. Cool. Cool. All right, folks. Well, we are done. Mike is done. We're all fixed to go leave this broadcast and start packing our toothbrushes. And we will see you next week from Las Vegas. Now, if you're watching us at the regular time next week, it will be at the regular time. It won't be any earlier. It'll just be earlier for us. 3 hours earlier for Mike and 2 hours earlier for me. And I think it's going to be like 19 hours later for Martin. So that's going to be an interesting situation, or 19 hours earlier, because actually today is actually Thursday for him. Thursday morning at, probably 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that now. Anyway. All right, Mike, we'll see you later. See you at NAB. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And be safe. Be safe. Have fun.
All right. Yep. Take care.
Bye-bye. Let's see. Can we do this?